The subject matter of this talk is confluence, which literally means flowing together, moving together. The picture behind me is of the river Ganges, and there is a city called Prayagraj, where the river Ganges meets another great river, the Yamuna. They join, come together, and then flow on together. There's a confluence. Some people say that there is a third river, the Saraswati. There's no physical third river. Some people say it's a mystical river. Some say historic. Be that as it may, there's the confluence of at least two great rivers. When these two great rivers come together and flow together, they are given an extra strength and momentum. The destination of the Ganges is the ocean. But to reach the ocean, it's necessary to flow round mountains, somehow round ravines and goodness knows what else. So it's easy enough to see that for that to happen, for the river to reach its destination and not fall short, it has to have a certain strength and momentum. This is really the great benefit of coming together, of flowing together. It gives us a strength and a quality which on our own we would not necessarily have. And it's this idea that I'd like to explore and try to elaborate on a little during this talk this morning. So that's what we are about. I want to consider confluence in a couple of different ways. The first way is in relation to the school itself, because we are, in a way, the result of a confluence. We're a Western organisation. We're sitting here in Oxfordshire, which is about as Middle England as it's possible to get. We don't have saffron robes, nor do we have Indian names. It's a Western setup. And what's come to us with the Western River, if I can call it that, is wonderful. There is the whole Judeo-Christian tradition, which is magnificent. I did smile when I saw an article in the paper that the great arch-atheist, Richard Dawkins, calls himself a cultural Christian. He's not very fond of Christianity. Well, he's not very fond of God, but let me put it that way. But he loves the culture of Christianity. The churches, the art, the music, and goodness knows what else. So we have that whole massive influence. We have the whole Platonic tradition. Indeed, starting before Plato, you could say, with Hermes Trismegistus and Parmenides, Plato, Plotinus, and then in more recent times, comparatively, Ficino, Shakespeare, and the like. All of which is the most magnificent philosophy, literature, and culture. I mentioned Shakespeare. It's an interesting example because for quite a lot of people coming into the school, Shakespeare's a bit of a closed book. Indeed, for some, it may be absolutely a closed book. And it's not so easy to connect with Shakespeare if you haven't been brought up with it. And so people come to the school, hear some Shakespeare, scratch their heads, but with a little time, a little patience, it's possible to connect with Shakespeare. It's really wonderful to see people connect with something they haven't connected with before. The light, the beauty of the language and poetry fills the person up. All of this is part of our Western River. Then we have the Eastern River, which for us has been brought by Sri Shantananda Saraswati and his successor, Sri Vasudevananda Saraswati. And summarizing it, it consists of the Advaita philosophy, the knowledge of the self. Advaita means one without a second. So we have the Advaita philosophy, and together with that, the meditation. Much more besides, but this is the heart of the Eastern River, if I can call it that. So when these two come together, something magical happens, a kind of alchemy. Now, I wouldn't say that we are the only organization in the world who combines these two streams. I don't know. But I'm not particularly familiar with many others. And we try to do it as well as we can, as carefully as we can, as beautifully as we can, really. And the result is, as I say, a kind of alchemy. Now, here at Waterbury, we are in what's called the ballroom, and quite a lot of work has taken place at Waterbury by students in the school, but quite a lot of work took place well before the school purchased the building. And I'm hoping this will work. We've got two little films, both short. One is, if you imagine coming out of this door, you will enter into the Georgian part of the building, a beautiful staircase and stained glass windows, most of which are from the 16th century. So this represents, if you like, the Western River. Then if you were to go out of this door, you would see the work which has been done by members of the school. It's a newer construction, lots of wood and glass and extensive artwork, frescoes, showing stories from the Advaita teaching. It's rather pleasing. You've got the Western and the Eastern, and they come into this room and flow out of this room. This room, you could say, symbolically represents the heart, the universal heart, from which and into which these streams flow. And we, both the people here physically and the people online, are in the center of all of this. This is how it's represented here at Waterbury. So this is the school, this confluence of East and West. And this is not to exclude everything else. So we have wonderful material from Rumi, from African philosophy, from Chinese philosophy, all sorts of things, Lao Tzu. So the streams are capable of absorbing more streams, if I can put it that way. But these are the two essential streams for the school. Sri Vasudevananda Saraswati, who I referred to, called the Eastern stream the pure stream of Advaita. If I can give an example, about 50 years ago, I was introduced to meditation, which has been a constant companion over those years. And it really would be impossible to describe the effect and influence of that on this life. But the pure stream of Advaita is as good a description as I can think of. It's just the most wonderful thing to have happened. And one shouldn't be afraid of being taken. The great river moves towards the ocean. We can flow with it and be taken to the ocean along with it. If we just stick in our own tiny little patch of land and let the waters pass by us, then it's less likely that we will flow towards the ocean. So join the flow. This is the first way I wanted to speak about Confluence. The second way is in relation to each of us as individuals. The three rivers which I've referred to are sometimes said to represent the ways of knowledge, love, and action. The Saraswati is the way of knowledge, the Ganges the way of love, the Yamuna the way of action. Sri Shantananda Saraswati gave a beautiful description of what happens when these forces come together. For example, he said, an active person would note the systematic simplicity of knowledge, appreciate the beauty and tenderness of devotion. This is how craft is turned into art. Which is lovely, isn't it? How craft is turned into art. The man who was overall responsible for the fresco work and was responsible for this house and estate for many years was himself a most active, energetic man, but he very much appreciated the systematic simplicity of knowledge and the meditation. He took these most dearly to heart. As a result of which, we got this. An active man became an active and artistic man. And the active and artistic man became a great man, a universal man. This is how Confluence works. We can become great men and women and universal men and women. Another description. The heart of someone on the way of knowledge will be cleansed by love and devotion and turn the power of reason into a sharp yet sweet instrument. Sometimes we see that highly intellectual people can be cutting, harsh, hard, and the highly developed intellect can sometimes be used to divide people, to cause difficulty. With the love and devotion, the power of reason retains its sharpness, but it has a sweetness added to it. So it doesn't divide, it unites. In the school, as many of us will know, there's been a great deal of work and study on the translation of the letters of Marsilio Ficino, and we just finished a retreat here at Waterperry a few days ago, where people were considering all of this. And he must have been a most remarkable man. His being, his sense of being must have been profound. His love for humanity is evident from the many, many letters that he wrote. But also his intellect was extraordinary. He translated all of Plato, he translated all of Plotinus, he wrote hundreds and hundreds of letters, and somebody once read through a list of all that he did. And at the end of it, one sat there thinking, goodness me, I haven't even started. It was astonishing. So it's marvelous when you get a combination of love and knowledge, and a great sense of being. Again, this is how confluence can work. We can absorb all of these streams. We can be taken by them. So this is an example of individuals. The third way to consider this is just this meeting itself today. In this room, forgive me if I miss out some people, we have people from Finland, Hungary, Ireland, China, England, and a few more maybe. I'm sorry if I missed some out. And we were just watching the chat before the meeting starts, and it's great to see because you get, hello, I'm so-and-so from this place, and every country under the sun. It's really marvellous. So we've got this confluence of people here and people from all around the world. One place I'd just like to mention in particular, that is the students in the school in Israel. The last year has been exceedingly difficult, but throughout it all, the members of the school in Israel decided, we're going to meditate. We are going to continue to meet to deliberate on the knowledge of the self. Whatever else happens, this is what we're going to do. And to my mind, that's been marvellous, just wonderful. So we have confluence here now as I'm speaking and as you're listening. We all can help each other. We all can learn, we all can teach. There's no rivalry. Everyone works together, helps each other, supports each other, and achieves unity together. It's obvious, isn't it? I can't achieve unity at your expense. The only way for one person to achieve unity is if the other person achieves unity as well. So the unity has to be experienced by us all. And whether we are experienced in the school or inexperienced in the school, it doesn't matter. Sri Vasudevananda Saraswati is always most encouraging. He says, keep going, keep going, keep practicing, keep practicing. One day, sooner or later, you'll find the self. Keep going, keep practicing. Keep helping each other. Now, to come back to the Ganges, I'm very fond of this picture. I hope, can you see? I'm going to stand to one side for a moment so you can get the fullness of it. And I'll even move this. There. This is a description given by Sri Shantananda Saraswati. The desire for truth is like a river, the river Ganges. She starts somewhere with a small beginning, facing all sorts of high mountains which hold her up, but she fills up and flows over them, intertwines around them for nearly 200 miles of high, low, and deep mountainous ranges, and she finds her way to the ocean to which she belongs. One need not be lured by the high peaks, nor sink into the deep ravines, but keep going. One day, truth will be found. Spirit will find truth one day. That's a rather lovely description. So that's the subject of Confluence. Thank you very much.